Oh my goodness. You know what? We are up here just trying to get it together, trying to get it together. Last minute, we're like, what? Do what? And Karen's like, no, I'm not doing that. So
It's Friday. I
it's
can't,
Friday.
I can't read lips. I can't do it.
Oh, so welcome to the world of live
Yes.
streaming. And ladies and gentlemen, we're here on day. Let me make sure I got this right because I was getting confused about what day we're on, but I want to make sure we're right. I think we're on day 12. Are we on day 12?
We are on
We're on
day
day 12
Yes.
of this 26 night marathon of live streaming. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about that we know everything that's going on. It's about what you become through the process as you just take that next step. I tied that in there. As you take that next step, things happen. Things start to change. You start to become the person you are called to be because you took just that one step, that very next step. You didn't conquer the world. You just took one step. And I just want to I'm just so thankful that we have this platform. You know, COVID came and shut a lot of stuff down, but it also opened up a lot of stuff. And God had his hand on that. And we're so thankful. So look, let me go ahead and turn that over to the Mrs. Karen Cheese. Go ahead and say hi to the people.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day 12 of our Focus Marathon. Wow. You know, this whole week, the conversations have been good. Last week, the conversations were good. Tonight's not going to be any different. It's going to be a good conversation, very informative. We're really excited about what's coming up. And it's just so good to see you come back to the show. If you haven't already said hello, give us a good hello, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're streaming in from today. Let us know that you're here. We'd love to see your name pop up in the chat. And don't forget, y'all, come on, share this live with somebody. Let them know that we're having a conversation tonight. We're continuing this Focus Marathon. Let somebody know, pull them on into tonight's conversation. Share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to say that again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the conversations. And make sure that you comment, because tonight is going to be a really good night to kind of get some questions answered about Fitness Friday. It's Fitness Friday.
This is Fitness Friday, and this is a serious Fitness Friday.
It is.
This is about your health. This is about longevity.
Being fit for the kingdom.
Yeah. Look, we all have a date. We all have an assigned time that we're going to leave here. But I don't think we should expedite that date unnecessarily. We have the power to change that or prolong our time as much as possible. And tonight, look, this is the Independence Day weekend that we're on. And today, I believe that someone is going to find their independence when it comes to health, especially in the realm of diabetes. Today is your Independence Day. And I hope you let that resonate with you. So if you want to be delivered, if you want to be helped, if you know somebody who want to be helped, Karen has already mentioned it to you, share this, say, hey, we're going to give you a minute. We're going to pause. We're going to kind of like banter a little bit to make sure you get the person you love on this call, this webinar, this video, this stream tonight. It is going to be life changing. I just don't know what to tell you. So we're going to banter a little bit. We're going to talk about this whole week was just full of great nuggets about transitioning yourself. What else did we have?
Career transition. Last night we talked about...
What did we talk about last night?
We talked about change in the community. Wow, that was so impactful.
That was big.
Because we got into community policing.
Right. Didn't even expect that.
No.
But our guest is retired police officer, and they brought some interesting nuggets to the conversation, and it was really fun.
I know we walked away with some things, and we could tell from the comments that the audience that tuned in, they walked away with some things on how they're going to get connected to others in their community. And so if you didn't catch that one, make sure you do tune into
Look at
that.
The replay. Yep, definitely. All right, so let's get into this.
All right.
Let's get into this. Tonight is, we have a very special lady coming with us tonight that I truly adore. And she's just special.
Absolutely.
She's special. She's had a journey and she is making change. She's not just going on this journey and say, I'm going to keep it to myself. you know how y'all do. You know how y'all do. She's going on this journey and she's sharing it with people. I mean, she's just nonstop. And I just want to share her with you guys tonight, today, this morning, wherever you're listening to this video at this moment. So let's go ahead and get into it and sit back. I got my pen, my phone, everything, so I can take a lot of notes. And I know I'm gonna do better. Look, I started doing differently as we started approaching the conversation.
You did. You started changing some
You
things
like, do you want some cheesecake? I was like, I actually don't want it. I'm good. I'm good. We have any apples in the house? So you guys are going to be changed. Let's get into this. I know you're waiting. Let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot. Hey, before we get started, one more thing. I'm sorry. One more thing. I know you're going to have questions tonight, and we want your questions answered. So we'll make sure, because I'm looking over here, looking over there, because we're doing the show and producing the show at the same time. If y'all know what I'm talking about, anybody been in that situation? So to help us out, if you have a burning question, keep your comments coming. But if you had look, I really need this question answered, put a Q in front of your question so it'll stand out, a capital letter Q, so it'll stand out to us. We'll know to make sure we pick that one. We don't want to have any question go unanswered. I'm done talking.
All right, y'all. Let's get started. So we have tonight the wonderful Gail C. Bussell. She's originally from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and she is known for her love and passion to empower persons of all ages to be a better them. She has been employed with the public schools. She's a retired educator of 24 years, and she currently mentors new teachers and facilitates first offenders for teens who have made negative decisions relating to substance abuse. There's so much to say. Gail is the founder of Not Today Sugar, a diabetes support group that was launched in March of 2021 after she went into ketoacidosis in January of 2020. After becoming insulin-free in March 2020, y'all get this, ketoacidosis in January 2020, March 2020, she becomes insulin-free. And her mission has become to educate and support persons who are diabetics by providing them tools and resources to live a healthier lifestyle. Y'all, can you show some love to Gail C. Bussell? We're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into it. We're going to unpack a lot. There's so much to say in her bio. She's a licensed and ordained minister. We love her dearly. She has prayed for us, prayed over us, and we're so excited to bring her to you all to share her journey and to talk to you about diabetes and how it can be managed and how it can be controlled. And so y'all show her some love in the chat and welcome Ms. Gail Bussell to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I am so honored just to be on here and you guys even considering me. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share about Not Today Sugar.
Go ahead. No. Shake sugar. That finger. What was it?
Not Today Sugar.
So that's good. We want to make sure that everyone has that perfect website, and it's going to be scrolling. As a matter of fact, it's scrolling now at the bottom of our screen. So as we go through this conversation, don't be surprised if your server crash with the amount of people that's going to be going to your website. So that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
So, man, Miss Gail.
Well, let's dive into the conversation. Because you have a very interesting story as far as how Not Today Sugar was born. And it started, it sounds like, from your experience of going through ketoacidosis. Give us a little background about what actually happened in your life.
Well, on January the 5th, 2020, just before COVID, about a month prior to that, I was not feeling well. And I knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And by the time I got to the ER and they checked my blood sugar and everything, I was a 687. That was my blood sugar. And my A1C was a 14.2, which is very high. So when we talk about our blood sugar, that's the amount of sugar that's present in our blood. And then the A1C is the average over 3 months. And so they were saying like over the average 3 months, I was a 14.2. Mind you, I had just had a physical in August and I was not even nowhere on, I may have been close into the pre-diabetic range, but not to what they found me going through at the time. I was very tired. I was tired all of the time and really didn't know what was going on. And they said that was going into diabetic ketoacidosis, which was life-threatening. They said that I was so tired, but they said that if I had gone to sleep, that would have been my last sleep. And so I never take that lightly. And it was something that hit me, all of a sudden. But I'm just grateful that I'm here to be able to share with others that you can come out of this. And when I left the hospital, I was taking insulin 5 times a day. 5 times for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and twice at night. And they told me that this was going to be my new normal. And I said, it will not be my new normal.
Okay. I know people. Go ahead. No, you keep talking.
Yeah. I said, it will not be my new normal. And I asked the doctor, I asked him, I said, what do I need to do? And immediately while I was in the hospital, they gave me a nutritionist there. And they put me on a 1,500 calorie diet. And no, I don't lack, the foods and things I eat. They told me I had to eat 30 to 45 carbs a meal. That's 30 to 45. I had to count my carbs. And they gave me a case manager. And then when I went to my doctor also gave me a behavior specialist. I had a dietitian. I had a nutritionist. And so I had all of these people in my corner, telling me, these are the things that I needed to do. And I said, I'm going to do it. So, and for those of you who do not know what ketoacidosis is, it's basically when it's a complication, diabetic complication, but it occurs when the body produces high levels of blood acid called ketones into your bloodstream. And it becomes very life-threatening. And so I did not really have when all this was going on, I really didn't know what to look for because I was not diagnosed as a diabetic. And but they told me these were the things that I needed to do. So every Wednesday, like clockwork, I went to the class. It was at 12 noon. And I would tell people, don't ask for me between 11:30 and 1:30 on a Wednesday. I won't be there. And for like almost a year, sometime I was the only person in the class, but I went faithfully to learn how to manage and to control the foods and things that I eat and what was best for me to come off of the insulin. And all in 2 months.
Yeah.
In 2 months, my doctor was like amazed, like I was still having taken the insulin, and then it got to the point that I couldn't even I couldn't even take 1 unit because I was in the number range.
Right.
Numbers and things were back in range.
Wow, that is amazing, and a testimony to the hard work you put in and the grace of God. So we are so grateful to see you here and to hear your testimony, and we know it's going to be encouraging to someone else. So you said you were pre-diabetic, but you really didn't know how serious that was, and that can be a common thing.
Yeah, and that happened when I went. She said, I think I was like a 6'2", and so like to be in the pre-diabetic range, it's 5.7 to 6.4. And so when she told me, you like in the diabetic range, she said it's not a whole lot to worry about. Well, I started walking, I was exercising, and I was doing it. And my doctor and the emergency doctor at the hospital, they were all going like, we don't know what happened. It's like something triggered and caused it to happen. But they don't know, nobody knows what that is, that caused it to happen. And but one thing I do remember, even as I said, they said if I closed my eyes would have been my last sleep. I do remember I kept saying to myself that I shall live and not die.
So if I may, I have my head down a lot. I just want you to know, because I'm typing as fast as I can notes for myself and that we're going to use. Here's your opening comments is a show. I mean, just your opening as a whole is a show. And then we got so much more to go through. But I noticed that you said you just didn't feel right on a particular day. and you say, I need to go get checked up. And I'm hearing, and I want people to understand that you know your body, and you know when something just is not right. So are you telling us don't ignore those feelings, those signs when something is just not going right with you? You just don't feel right.
Right. And yes, I was not feeling right for like a month. Like everything just happened like within a month's time. It just like, and I started being real fatigued and everything. And, I shared that with my doctor, and I told her I was losing weight, but because I was exercising, I don't think it really hit her. Like, I was like, but I shouldn't be losing it that fast. But I didn't have any other symptoms, but that I was tired and that I was, losing weight. And then it would seem like I became more fatigued. They asked me, was it because they say you get a thirst for water? And I was like, well, I wasn't thirsty for water because I drink water. I start every morning with 2 bottles of water. So it wasn't like I was, dehydrated or anything. So I didn't have that taste, that I needed water, and a lot of other symptoms that they were saying. The only thing I was just tired, and I knew something was wrong. And actually, when I got to the ER and they asked me, I told them that I did not feel good, that something was wrong, and I did not know what that wrong was, but could they help me?
Wow, this is so good. This is so good. So you went to the doctor. They do the markup for you. They get you on and get you on the series of medication, and you're thinking.
I wasn't
thinking.
I wasn't on medication for what you talking about, for medication prior to or after?
No, just once they said, hey, you're diabetic.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So they give you the combination, whatever they give you, the shot and stuff like that. And for many people, they just settle in and say, this is going to be my new normal. But you didn't. What drove you to not accept that this was your new normal?
Well, shooting yourself 5 times a day, that's, being your new normal. I'm like, no, it's not going to be my new normal. What do I need to do?
Right.
And I just felt that it had to be a better way, that I did not have to settle for, being on medication and just doing this, but what was within me and my power to make a change.
I think people start to accept their new norm because of the high numbers of diabetes. They say, well, I guess this is the new badge of honor because everybody, okay, let me bring this up. You're helping us because you gave us some stats here that will help us out tonight. And here you have more than 37 million people in the United States have diabetes. And 1 in 5 of them don't even know they have it.
That's 20%. That's a high percentage.
We're getting better with numbers, aren't we? We were joking around the house. Oh, we're getting better with numbers.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Because I just transparency. At one point, my doctor said that I was borderline pre-diabetic. And I said, nope, give me 30 days, doc. And we're going to come back. We're going to do this again because I'm not going there. So I feel you on that one. I really appreciate what you're saying. So more than 37 million. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, as I went through this whole journey, and we've been hearing about diabetes for the longest, but people have not really been educated on how they can control and manage. And what is called self-managed. So I manage, my diabetes by what I eat, opposed to, taking meds, because there are lots of different pills that they can take, the insulin. But I was like, what can I do? And they said, you can become self-managed. And I just, I was in communication, like with my doctors, on what I could do with this thing. And so I think being being an advocate for yourself,
right?
Being an advocate, for yourself, that you don't have to just say, okay, they told me to take this. And what I'm finding out a lot of times, once you're placed on medicine and you don't get control and your numbers continue to go higher, then they just up the doses and then you're placed on more medication. And so I'm not one that likes to take I don't like taking medication. And so that was just like something that I was like, what can I do?
Wow.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah. And you mentioned, this was also kind of earlier on, but you mentioned having talking with a nutritionist and talking with several different people. And I recall, just as we were talking about having this conversation, you said that everybody can, or a lot of people can have access to these exact same people like you did. Talk a little bit about how you have access to nutritionists and others who can help you with managing it.
Okay, first of all, and I share this with the group all the time. Your doctor worked for you, and if your doctor worked for you, and if they can't accommodate you and make you a better you and help you, then you don't need them, and you can say bye, and find you somebody that is going to work in your best interest. And so many times, people have said, what my doctor said, oh, you'll be all right, just take this, but never give them any steps to take. And so my doctor was just like, we're going to get your nutritionist. Well, when I asked the hospital and I said, what do I need to do? They was like, okay, we can put you on this, we can do this. And it was outside of the medication, to help make me better. So you have to be your advocate. And it's also, if you don't know how to fight for yourself, you get your ride or die, or somebody that that got your back, your ace boon coon, your boy, your girl, and you have them to ride up in that place with you and help ask those questions for you. And, because so many times you may not know what to ask, but somebody that said, okay, so what will this medicine do for me? How can I come off of this medicine? And if you get somebody and they just go, oh, don't worry about it, you're going to be okay. That's not what you want to hear. So then you start looking in your network to see, okay, let me find somebody that will help me. And believe it or not, you can get a nutritionist through your doctor, and most insurance companies will pay for it. And I will have a person back on Not Today Sugar on July the 21st that's going to come, and she's actually a nutritionist that will be sharing with us resources and how to go about making sure that you get that information on how to go about and navigate that.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know, and your insurance could pay for a nutritionist. That's great news.
She said most of them pay for it, and you may have to pay your copay or something like that. Correct. But a lot of your insurance companies will pay.
Now, with that being said, just so we're all on the same page here, and we're getting educated. I want you to know you're educating us. To get the hospital, your insurance to pay for the nutritionist, do you have to have are there certain markers that you have to have for the hospital, for your insurance to say, okay, we'll pay for that? Like you were going through diabetes. And so did that kind of like for right now, I don't have diabetes. Could I say, hey, I just want a nutritionist?
I don't know exactly how that totally works, but I say one thing about it, you can always inquire. And all they can do that's the thing, is asking questions. You'll never know an answer if you don't speak up. And ask the question. So, you can ask. And that was one thing, I could have left that hospital with, just saying I'm going to be on insulin. But when I asked the question, what do I need to do? And it's just taking responsibility for your health and not just laying down and allow somebody else to govern you and control you.
All right. So can we just let that sink into everybody? Look, I'm just going to, are y'all getting this?
Right.
Are y'all getting this? You have control. Because I remember saying, this is my doctor said, and just kind of like accepting what my doctor says, and never questioning it. I've grown from that. But I hope y'all are getting this.
Yeah. And I think I completely agree, because I think, if you don't have that type of relationship with your doctor, then it may be you need to think about a different doctor, but you want to be able to ask questions and push back, and just say, is this a good fit for me? Or these are what my goals are. How can you help me reach those goals? And I think that's a really good way to think about when you're thinking about trying to manage your health. I mean, anyway. I was I wanted to push back a little bit just because I want to know, is this the only alternative? And what I'm learning too is sometimes, because some medical professionals, not saying all, we're in a litigious society, meaning people will sue for anything. Yeah. So some of them don't want to rock the boat. So they'll say, well, what do you want to do? I don't need a doctor who's going to tell me, what do I want to do? I need you to give me sound medical advice. So when I ask questions, give me feedback. And then, of course, you ultimately make the decision for yourself. But even doctors who just kind of go along to get along, you want to be leery of them as well.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff. I want to show some stats that you gave us and kind of like talk around some of those stats. And then I want you to, if you don't mind, go through some preventative stuff that we could do even before something like that happens. Because now you're learning. Like sometimes the best teacher is, when you go through something, now you know. And to come back, you say, and to come back and now share that, I'm hoping you could give us some, like, hey, look, don't even go down that path. I've been down that path. Let me give you the warning signals. Because, like, I'm looking at your website, Not Today Sugar, and you remember, you might be too young, but we grew up on the word, they just got sugar.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this daggone sugar stuff? And can I get some? I mean, you don't know when you're a kid, you just hearing, so-and-so got sugar, honey. Don't worry about them. And I was like, well, how come y'all ain't sharing the sugar? Well, you don't want the sugar. You want to be able to not today sugar. That's what you want to do. So I got, you gave us some good stuff. Let's look at this one here. A person with prediabetes is high risk for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So, man, let's talk about that a little bit. I think people might say, I just have diabetes, but you're on the cusp of some major issues if you don't get this under control.
Yes. One thing about diabetes, and it's with my whole journey, God allowed me to experience some things that people that had diabetes for years went through. I experienced them all in a 2-month span. But people don't realize that diabetes, it affects every aspect, every organ in your body, every organ in your body. It is deadly. And one thing that I experienced after I went into the ketoacidosis, and it didn't happen in the hospital, and my numbers were coming down, and I was coming along fine. But my eyesight, one morning I woke up and I told my husband, I said, I can't see. My vision was so blurred, I could not see. And when I went to the doctor, I got to the ophthalmologist. They saw me right away. And when they did my vision, it was like, I was like 1.75 and then 225, you know how they have in your eyes. But by the time I got to them, I was at a 375 and a 425. Which my glasses I couldn't really see. And so that was a whole shift for me. But in a month's time, it was gone. That by the time they wrote the prescription and I wore the glasses, that they had to go back and change the prescription. And then my eyes were better than they were before.
Wow.
I went into the hospital.
And that was all from changing your nutrition?
Changing my nutrition, just eating right. My skin, I woke up, my feet, as a diabetic, your feet, you have to keep your feet moist and oiled and things else that'll crack. And then in cracks you can get infections. I woke up one morning, my feet just started cracking. Off to the hot, called the doctor, was right there. My feet peeling. She said, this happens when people are diabetics. She gave me medicine all within a few days, cleared up and gone. And I was just like, God, what is going on here? But he allowed me to experience all in a couple of months' time, what people over the years have experienced, that if they don't control their diabetes, if they don't take initiative to eat healthy and take care of their skin, that these are some effects that they're some of the outcomes that they're going to experience.
So this is interesting. So let's just bring this up. If you have diabetes, if let's say you didn't do the things you need to do and you now have diabetes, we're not saying don't take the medicine and the prescriptions and stuff that the doctor prescribes for you. It's how you partner with that decision by what you do for yourself.
Right.
So if you got to take a piece of medicine or whatever, take that medicine, but don't stop and just let the medicine be your new norm. Do something, and do it at Not Today Sugar and get it done. So yeah, when you were talking about your blindness here, there's a stat here about diabetes also increase the risk of heart disease and stroke, but can lead to other serious complications such as kidney failure, blindness. And you talked about that. It was on its way. It was that blindness was starting to set in, amputation of the toe, foot, and leg. And the reason why we're reading that, because you would think there's this old statement that says, if you know better, you do better. However, that's a good statement. Behavior modification is a hard thing. So just because you know a thing doesn't mean you're going to change your mindset and actually do it and make it a habit. So could you talk about what was going on mentally? You're just a different kind of person. Let me just say that, because
I'm a fighter.
So it has to be within you, and you have to fight for it. We say that a lot, fight for it, fight for your life. People are depending on you. Your life is valuable. People are waiting for you to step into a certain place. And Ms. Gail, we would not be complete. We say this a lot. You hear this, we would not be a complete people if you were not here. There would just be something special, a certain spark that would be missing. And I'm saying that to you, but I want other people who are listening or viewing, we need you. So fight for it. Don't just settle and say, this is just the way it is for me. No, it's not. It's not. You can make a change. Let's partner with our doctors and medical communities to make this happen. Right. Let me go ahead. Go ahead. No, please.
Speak. But Ms. Gail, I would like for you to speak to that, because we're talking about focus throughout this whole marathon. Yeah. Where was your mindset? What were you focused on when you got the diagnosis and you said, nope, this is not going to be my new normal? What were you focused on?
Living, because living. Because like the night before, like I said, I had been several nights I would lay in the bed and I would cry and stuff because I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. But I kept in my spirit, I just kept, look, I will live and not die. I shall live and not die. I shall live and not die, because I knew that there was a purpose. I know that there's purpose for my life. And I knew that my purpose had not been completed. So I know wasn't time for me to check out. It was not time for me to give up. Yeah. And even with, everything that was going on, I do want to say this, that you need a support system, and you need people that's going to be in your corner. And it's just like being an alcoholic or drug addict. You don't need nobody bringing you the alcohol. You don't need nobody bringing you the drugs and saying, just take a hit and it's not going to hurt you. My biggest advocate and my biggest support system was right here in my home. My husband, and I shout out to Larry Bussell, my husband supported me from day one. When he knew that I had to count my food, the labels, he knew that I had to count carbs. He was in here measuring, writing the stuff down, and he was walking with me in this journey. And he still walks with me in this journey. And he'll say, how many carbs? He'll still ask me when we said, how many carbs do you have? How many is that? Making sure that I'm on the right path. And I just have to give another shout out for many of my meals. He was preparing them for me. And that's what you want, somebody that's going to support you. So have an accountability partner that's walking beside you saying, I'm here for you. What do you need? How can I help?
Let's give a shout out to Brother Larry Bussell.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's give him a shout out. Thank you, sir, for stepping up and stepping in.
Yeah.
And so he did, as a matter of fact, he went to several of my nutrition classes with me to get an understanding. And so, I'm that piece right there, just grateful that I had somebody in my corner. Then I have some good girlfriends that they knew what I could eat, that when they have a function at their house, they would call me and ask me, I'm having this, but I know you can't have this. Will this be good for you? They didn't just say, well, I'm just what I'm fixing and whatever. They knew my situation. They knew, and will this be good? I know you can have the meat. I know you can have this, but I know you can only have this amount. Would this sweet potato be good for you along with these green beans? And so those are the kind of people, and those are the kind of people that walked with me, you know, and those are the kind of people that you want in your circle, and not somebody that's bringing you the stuff and say, oh, it's okay. It ain't going to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt you. And one thing too, I want to just put this plug in there because I think that this is key. Even as you have diabetes, I had to realize too that this was not just about me. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I had to take care of myself, you know, and make sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And I said, because if you don't eat right, you get an infection. You don't, you know, check your skin. Like, we're not supposed to go barefooted. You can get infections in your foot because you can get neuropathy and you don't have any feeling or anything. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, some people have had to be, you know, amputated because, you know, of infections and things like that. And I said, you know what? I said, if I have the attitude of just, I'm going to eat what I want. I'm just going to eat what I want. And I go blind because I chose that. Now I am impacting somebody else's life because now they have to give up my husband would have to give up what is important to him, things that he wanted to do to drive me around because I chose to do me.
Can I say that Ken and I both fighting trying to dive in? I'm like leaning forward and she leaning forward.
And that's, to me, that's selfish. You know, to me, that's selfish. You know, this is me. This way, nobody can't tell me what to eat. But then if I get sick, I expect for him to take off or stop his things to do and be at the hospital seeing about me. Mm-hmm. And so I had to realize this thing is more than just about me. And I do know sickness and stuff happens and people taking care of themselves, but that which I have in my power to do, I need to do.
All right. And that's it right there. Because I mean, you said a mouthful, but I mean, a couple of things that really stood out to me. One, you said you were focused on living, and so living your best life, living, you know, life to the fullest, living and having good quality of life. I'm hearing all of that. I'm also hearing that you knew you still had purpose. Yes. And you cannot complete purpose. And we talk about this a lot. I mean, and we're not just saying that to people. We say this to ourselves. Right. We cannot complete our purpose if we're not healthy. That is so important.
Yeah. That's like when you don't feel like working out, you know, and I said, well, you got to work out because, you know, like you said, I got so much I got to do. I don't feel like working out. Well, that's why you need to work out because you got so much you got to do, you know, and we throw that back at. I want to throw something at you. Okay. You brought up that you had people in your corner that knew you couldn't eat certain things.
Yes.
How do you handle the situation? Because I've been through this, where you know you're trying to do better nutritionally, and then there's the family gathering, and nobody turns down Big Mama's whatever. What? You don't want none of my peach something pie? You know, this is the famous pie that I always make. What kind of decorum or how do you handle those situations where they're not so supportive and they just want you to get along, you know, go along to get along like you always done?
I have been to many functions lately, and I was a peach cobbler lover with vanilla ice cream on top. Yes. And some of my good girlfriends, they are amazing cooks. You know, you get to their house, they have the pound cakes, all of that. Mm-hmm. And I remember at a function at one of them's house, she was passing out cake to people, and she went around me. Mm-hmm. She went around me. She was passing and she went around me. She didn't even put it in my face. But people have offered me stuff and I say, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You have the power. It's okay.
I just say, no, thank you. And I'm finding out I don't always have to give them an explanation on why I said no. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and those, it's so much through this whole journey that I'm learning. Mm-hmm. It's almost like I found me through it.
You found you through it.
Yes. I found me through it. It's like, I don't, you know, somebody says, oh, you ought to try this. No, thank you.
So when you say you found you in this, so I can see how that can transfer into other aspects of your life as well, finding out who you are within and in other aspects of your life. So now we're talking about nutrition, but in other things you want to do business. And now you're learning and probably adapting to, that's not what I do. I don't even need to entertain that because that's not my lane. And, so I can see this as being a great lesson in life for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm happy for your journey.
Thank you. And I look at my journey too, and I'm just like, God, I don't know why you allowed this, but I just feel like I'm in such a better place.
Wow.
And that even as we were going through COVID, for me, I know a lot of people were complaining, but I believe that I lived my best life. Doing that was a time that I was able to really focus, on me, get my health together. They said to stay away from people, but they didn't say stay from outside. So I walked over 1,180 miles, did over 2 million steps. I would just get up and I would just walk. I even learned, commercials stay on forever. It's more like they're longer than the TV programs.
I know. It's more commercials.
And so I would get up and when the commercial come on, and I would just start running in place.
I love that. I love that.
I would just start running in place. And then if a good song come on and got a good beat, I just start moving to it, just in lifting my legs, doing my little arms and going, doing all these different things. Just,
oh my God.
Making, it was just like the creativity and, all the things that I used to say, oh, I don't have time to do. Oh, I can't get to that I began to realize I can get to that.
Yeah. And I like that you were making little modifications here and there.
Right. One step at a time, right? You were just taking the next step.
One step at a time.
Thanks for sharing that. All right. So, man, we're having fun. I don't know about you, but this is really good. I want to bring up a couple of more informational things that people should know. Okay. One of the things that Karen and I was just really blown away about was that diabetes, and this is only in the United States, so we're not even talking worldwide, is the 7th leading cause of death. And it may be underreported. So people just aren't, saying it. And now because of COVID, probably, people, they're just classifying that as the meaning or the reason. That was staggering. Let me get a couple more up here, and then we're going to open up for some questions. And I just love the way you're sharing. Let me see. Did we do this one here? 96 million of U.S. adults, over a third are pre-diabetic. That's 8 and 10. That's just staggering. Now, some of the things that will kind of like lead to diabetes, or people who are at high risk for diabetes, is people that are, I think here's one here, overweight and have obesity, age 45 and over, have parents, brothers, or sisters with type 2 diabetes, are physically active less than three times a week.
That one hit me hard.
Yeah. Because most of us are like, don't do a whole lot. But yeah. And so
especially if you have a desk job. Yep.
And they do, one of the things that you work out like 100, and it's like 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, brisk walking, things like that. And if you get more, great.
Wow.
Physical activity is one of the number one things that, really, really helps to help manage your diabetes.
What would you say to a person who may be in that pre-diabetic stage? What would be maybe the first step that they should take if they're in that pre-diabetic stage to start to turn that around?
Let's prevent this thing from happening.
Acknowledge that you are in it first, and that, your life is on the line. Acknowledge that, and then begin to say, set a goal and say, 30 minutes, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You don't have to get a gym membership. Like sometimes I do line dance. I'll just stand. You don't know how most of the steps, but I listen to line dance music and just make my own little steps.
Right.
But just do something creative to keep you moving. And once I started moving, it's like, I started 30 minutes, then I'm just like, I'd be into it a whole hour. I just like, ooh, I got some energy. I'm ready to go now. So I would just, start the small steps, or, looking and watching what you're eating. And if you're eating more down the aisle than outside aisles, then start looking at going and eating more on the outside owls.
And now, let me clarify that. You're talking about like if you go to the store and you're
To the grocery
shopping,
store.
so you want to go around the perimeter of the grocery store to get most of your food. That's where you're going to have your produce, your dairy,
Vegetables,
vegetables,
fresh
all this stuff. Right,
vegetables.
fresh, yeah.
Fish, your
Yes.
lean
Yes.
protein.
I'm thinking about the store when we go in there. As soon as you walk in, there's like, peppers and cucumbers and
Yeah.
stuff right there.
Mushrooms,
And there's, but I have to run past the deli though, because it's funny, they put the deli right between the vegetables and the fresh fish. There's a deli in the middle there to try to grab me, but I kind of like try to get past it because they,
because processed meats are not good for you.
yeah. So that's good stuff.
and high in sodium and all that.
Yeah.
We got to be mindful of this. This is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be in place. You have to fight for your life. Someone is depending on you to be in place when they need you. It can be just a word of encouragement that they will not hear from you if you don't take care of yourself. So this is interesting. Let's take a moment and look over at the comments and see if we have any questions or comments. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, go ahead and put a Q by it so we can make sure definitely that get answered. But we're going to look and see what we have as far as comments. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So, man, couple of things. I had to get myself together. There's a couple of things here. Just off the bat, man, you got welcome. People are happy that you're here. They just, want to say welcome to you. That you got people that are just giving you some applause. Man, you got a buddy here. Let me see what the Donald says. Yeah, taking proper care of me is not about me. My health impacts everyone connected to me.
Yes.
You know what? That's a keeper. Oh, here we go. We got Ms. Rollins. She's saying here, this is good, Reverend Gail. I'm diabetic and lack consistency. That's the word. I look forward to joining. Listen, I look forward to joining your support group. I need a support system. Welcome aboard, Ms. Rollins. Go ahead and get yourself started. I have a statement here. Go ahead. No, what were we going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say yes, because every first Thursday, I have Dr. Donald Shell comes on and talks to us from a doctor's perspective.
Wow.
Yes. And so, and he talks about the amputations, the strokes. He talks about the different pieces of body, the different parts of the body that's impacted. He shares with you the medicines and why they use certain medicines, all of these. He shares a lot of great stuff with us. We've had several people come on and talk about healthy eating. James Tate, Dr. Gail Jones been on. My dentist has been on talking about the teeth. Yvette Haley been on talking about the sight, the mind, mental health with Tiffany Simons. So these different people come on and just share, with us how we can better manage our diabetes, because all of those different people that I just mentioned, those are different aspects of our mind, our body, our soul that needs to be dealt with. So
yeah. Now you mentioned a brother James Tate. He will be on this show soon. Yep, he'll be on. He's slotted to come on in. I have a question here. Now you're gonna love this question, and this is a question we should have asked. And this one says, you recognize this person here? I love it. What does a smart diabetes meal look like? And how do you plan a meal? That's a very good question. People want to know.
Okay, so my meal and my nutritionist, what they set up was for me that and if y'all got a minute, I can share this.
Go ahead, go.
Let me grab this.
I should have my dude.
Okay, so this was something that they gave me.
Yes, manage your plate.
Yep, this plate. And so, all of this side is to be like your vegetables. And Larry would tell you, I'd be just like, he said, what are you doing? I have a salad. And then I got to have my broccoli, And so even though my salad may be big and I don't really put all that dressing and stuff on it, but you have to have like a lot of vegetables over here. And then you have like your meat, your 3-ounce meat, and then your carbs. And so like majority of my carbs, like depending on what it is, I know like small oranges, bananas and stuff are like 15 carbs. like a slice of grain bread like 13 or 15. So that, that's how I count that.
And those are
And
grams, right? When you say
mhm,
carb, you're letting people know
grams.
that there's a certain amount of
So
grams of
grams.
carbs. Okay.
And so that's basically what my plate consists of. And the funny thing, if I showed you pictures, that when you look at your meal, because even when I was in the hospital, and they was like, oh, you can have another carb, you can have another this, and you can have another. And I had all this food, and I'm going like, what? But literally, we eat off of a salad plate here in the house. And because when they say a half of like this right here is a fourth, we measure our food. And so,
Okay.
yeah, you have to measure, because when you look at the label on the back, it's serving size. And so it will tell you it's 5 servings, but it's like a half a cup or a fourth of a cup. And we have a tendency to eat the whole box. And so the whole box, you really had 4 servings. So everything is times that, and so we actually, look at our, measure our foods and things.
And we both looked at each other.
But but a healthy meal, it has the meat, it has your vegetables, it has the carb and everything, and the fat, and if you eat your meal like that, that's one way that my weight is able to stay steady, right? Because I'm eating all of the components together. It was designed that way.
There was one extra loop on your plate. Now I got that plate. How you designing your plate? I got dairy. That. Yeah. That's dairy. Okay.
Dairy.
Yeah. Now I can skip the dairy part altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I eat dairy out on the road somewhere, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
I gotta be close to home if I'm gonna eat dairy. So I don't want to go too deeper than that.
Yep. That's good.
That's good. You said that's good. Yeah. That's not a good look for me. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, this is nice. This is from Mark Taylor Lloyd. Do you know Mark?
No.
You'll get to know Mark. Yeah, y'all. I can imagine that you guys will connect soon. Just keep hanging out with our community. Mark is a dynamic guy, doctor, and but he said patients with diabetes are told to maintain tight control of their glucose levels as a strategy to manage their diabetes. Then he goes on to say, but you are a living testimony. Let me use my radio voice. He said, but you are a living testimony that diabetes can be defeated. Thank you.
And it can. And can I share my affirmation? This is what when I started Not Today Sugar. Yes, it's not today sugar. So, and that was truly given to me from God. But the affirmation says, I control my sugar. My blood sugar. My blood sugar does not control me, not unless I give it the power to do so. I must watch what I eat, how much I eat, and what I come in agreement with. When I'm accountable, my goals are achievable. It is truly up to me. I choose to be in control and not be controlled. My health and life is worth the fight. I am a victor over my disease and not a victim of it.
Wow.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we have to control. We have just given our lives and stuff over to so many things and lies. And when God said, you have to be careful what you come in agreement with. And one thing I'll never forget, when he said that to me, we'll say, oh, I just got to have this. If I don't eat this, I'll just die. And he was like, why would you die from something that you was living before you were ever introduced to it? If you don't get it? Why would you die? But the mouth, there's power, life and death in the power of the tongue. And so we can either speak life over our life, or we can speak death. And the more we say we can't, the more we won't.
Say that again.
Come on now.
The more we say we can't, the more we won't. We won't do it because we've told ourselves. So that's why we can't be conformed to the ways, of the world. But we have to be transformed by the renewal. We have to renew our minds and say, you know what? No, I can live a healthy life. I have to make the choice. And one thing about this whole thing, another thing that God gave me, he said, you got to participate in the process. If you want change, you have to participate in the process. You have to be an active participant. And so somebody said, well, Gail, what scripture is that based on? Okay, let's go there then. Faith without works is dead.
Well,
You're trusting for good health, but you ain't doing nothing to get it. You have to participate in the process.
Let's get an amen there from Miss Patricia. She's gonna go ahead and drop an amen in there. We love that one.
Yes. So listen, let everybody know the day that Not Today Sugar meets. Remind us of that again, the date and time, and go ahead and give a little overview.
Okay, Not Today Sugar meets every Thursday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. Every Thursday at 5:30. We don't even take off time for vacation because it's just that important that once you start missing, then you'll continue to go back. So we always have a session. And so we meet every Thursday. So if you're interested, you can go to nottodaysugar.org and you can send me an email, or you can send an email directly to GailC.Bussell@gmail.com, and I will send you the link, and we would be glad to have you on there.
Can you give that email out one more time?
Yes, it's GailC.Bussell@gmail.com.
All right. So I told people that I wanted to make sure if they put a Q in front of their statement that we definitely answer those. So we got another Q.
Okay.
Here we go.
And it's via Zoom too.
Okay. The meetings is via Zoom. Okay. What are a couple of success stories from people in your support group? People want to know.
Okay. And we have had several success stories where people's actually, because they begin to be active in their journey with diabetes, that their A1Cs have come down from 9s to 7s, and from somebody's was like in a 9 and they're down to a 5.6. And so, and now I'm at a 4.6. I was a 14.2 when I went in, and I am a 4.6. My doctor was like, she said, what are you doing? Whatever you're doing, continue to do it. Mm-hmm. So it can be done. Had one person, she lost her eyesight, and to God be the glory, her sight is back, and she's working. Her health, her numbers and things are going down. And it's like people are being more mindful of what they're eating, taking the steps of measuring their food, telling people no, watching what they're eating. Mm-hmm. And also having those accountability partners. But those are some of the success stories that have come out from just people saying that, they've even said that their doctors are like, what are you doing to get your numbers down? They say, well, I go to this diabetes support group called Not Today Sugar. That's right. Not Today Sugar. Don't do it. Not Today Sugar.
I love it. I love that.
Is so wonderful. Wonderful.
You captured that. That was really good. I got another question. You ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. What are some of the snacks you would recommend to satisfy that sweet, salty craving?
Okay, to be honest with you, I haven't had any sweets, sugar, or anything since January the 5th. Mm. The sweetest thing I had was graham crackers, and I stopped eating those. So some snacks you can begin to start saying, like, let me eat some, celery's good. I fixed some celery, peanut butter, and cherries together. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was really good because cherries were kind of sweet, and then the peanut butter on the celery. So that's you. So, and you got your little salty there. Celery got kind of like a little salty taste to it. Mm-hmm. It got the little crunch to it. And then you got your good cherry, which is a natural sweet.
That's good, because I sat back a little bit and I was thinking we got to be careful of the snacks we take because they might be triggers.
Yeah.
Or I'll just eat this one little thing to help me with my craving. And then before you know it, I remember I was over my grandmother's house one time, and on her kitchen, on the refrigerator, I saw a Krispy Kreme. And I said, Krispy Kreme? Oh, that's right. I forgot you can buy the boxes of them. Back in the day, you can buy them in the store. And I said, I'll just have one. almost a half a box later, I was sitting on her couch like, what happened? So we got to be careful. So I like the example you gave because that's all good. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and when you were saying, I had just shared something with a group that one of the members, and we share resources and information in the group that other people give, and it was talking about sugar cravings, and it was talking about sugar is like an opiate.
Yes, it's one of the tough ones.
Yeah, yes, and it's tough. It's it's people are addicted to it. So I knew that I ate my chocolate and things, but I do love vegetables. And so I know I don't even need to go and start testing and trying to do something that I know that can take me back.
Got you. So when you go through like Costco and Sam's, you're good. You're not like me, like stopping at everybody that got a station to, what you making over? What you got cooking over in that thing? I have lunch just going through the stores. Okay. Anyway, you ready for another question?
Okay.
All right, here we go. What do you recommend for a person with mobility issues? So yeah. Now,
and is it talking about for exercises?
Say that again.
Are this with mobility issues, like probably exercising and being able to?
Hey, Jackie, let's stay with Jackie for a second. Jackie, when you say people with mobility issues, are you referring to nutrition, or are you referring to like somebody who has diabetes and have mobility issues? What specifically, when you say mobility issues, what areas of questioning do you have or concerns do you have? We want to make sure, take your time about typing it in. We got a few more minutes. We just want to make sure we get your question answered as best as possible. What do you recommend for a person with mobility issues? Maybe it's exercise. I mean, we have that guy, Josh Allen was on here. Mm-hmm. If you didn't get a chance, Jackie, go back in our playlist. And we had a day when it was our first Fitness Friday, and we had a guy, Josh Allen was on there, and he talked about all the different things you could do movement wise. He left some contact information on there, and definitely go back and look at that. But we're gonna hold off for you. If you want to clarify that question, what do you recommend for a person with mobility issues? We'll give you a moment to do that. We'll just chat a little bit.
And since you're talking about mobility issues, because I know sometimes people, have had concerns with, not being able to do certain exercises because, they have injuries. And I tell you what, I don't know if you guys have heard, and he's on YouTube. His name is Donovan Green. He has chair exercises. And so 15 minutes before we come on, we start at 5:30, but at 5:15, we always do some exercises with him, and he does them from the chair. So if you can't stand up and he's got you working your arms, it's things that you can do. Mm-hmm. So yes.
Yeah. I have a relative. She said, yes, all of the above. We have a relative. She's 106 now.
Oh,
in North Carolina, and her body physically is still, she's doing her thing. And so I asked her one year, I think she was just turning, wait a minute, hold on one second. Okay, here we go. This is more clarification. Exercise with back and neck issues. So she wanted to know, person with mobility issues, more specifically exercise with back and neck issues.
And that would be something that I would have them check with their PT, the physical therapist, to see what is best. If you have some type of injury, and that I would go through the doctor and see what is best. And there is always something that you can do, even if you are not able to get up and walk. There's things that you can do from where you are.
But you know what? It starts with the will.
Yeah.
If Jackie, if you have a will to do something different, to change things around, start with the inner you, and we can make it happen. I also like, Jackie, the fact that Ms. Bussell was saying, don't try to do it on your own. Mm-hmm. She was like, make sure you have a support system. Please contact. Let me hold on. Let me bring this back up. Please make sure you get connected with Not Today's Sugar. Please make sure you contact them. And it sounds like a really good support group. group, Not
Yeah.
Today Sugar.
And
So
we basically support. That's all we do is support each other. But make sure before you make any changes to anything that you consult your doctor.
Absolutely.
that's
Yes,
great.
that's our disclaimer. We provide support and we support each other and share, but make sure that you are consulting with your doctor as well. Now you'd be surprised. Somebody just sent me something. They said, I was listening to your celery secret. They said a wheat cracker, peanut butter, and a strawberry slice or banana slice with cinnamon is
Oh.
awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. So someone is listening. Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
and
And they gave a great example of how you can handle that. That was the salt and sweet question, answer to
Yeah,
that. Did you get
yeah.
that?
A
Can you
wheat,
say that one more time? I want to make sure that the listener
they
got that.
They said a wheat cracker, peanut butter, a strawberry slice, or banana slice with cinnamon.
With some cinnamon on top.
Yeah, I think that was Miss Rollins.
Who asked the
Yeah,
question?
I think it was Miss Rollins. Well, you know what? I'm full.
Yeah, this is good.
I'm
Very
full.
informative.
You just gave us so much good nuggets. You have blessed us today.
And the inspiration to dig within ourselves, right? To make some changes.
Right.
Yeah.
To not just let things happen to us, but to make sure that we take charge of what we can do, what's in our hands to actually do. And so I thank you so much for everything you shared. I thank you for the motivation that you provided. I thank you for the reasons that you gave and sharing your testimony and what you've gone through to encourage and inspire all of us. We could not have had this conversation without you. You are definitely a living testimony, and we thank God for what He's doing in you and through Not Today Sugar, because this is a really great support group. So if you are dealing with diabetes, you have a family member who may be, definitely get them introduced to Not Today Sugar so that they can get some more resources, have some other people who are on this journey and know what they're facing, so that they can be supported in another way, beyond just maybe trying to do it by themselves. So definitely, y'all, connect to Not Today Sugar, share it with some other people who need to know about this great support group.
Yeah, check this out. We just talked with Jackie, and Jackie said, absolutely Not Today Sugar.
Awesome,
See what a good
awesome.
conversation will do. That's all we're doing, having a good conversation.
Yes.
With that being said, if you like these types of conversations we're going to have, we still got some more days to go. We're just on day, was it 12?
Day 12.
We're just on day 12 of this marathon, Focus Marathon, and today we're focusing on getting your life back.
Amen.
Winning the battle of diabetes. But if you like this type of information, content and information, go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel. Hey, if we had something else might come up that you like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hang out with us a little bit. Also, join our email group at the top of our banner. If you're on our webpage, or maybe in the description, there might be a link to join our email list. We might not always do a whole, because this is a production to put on, to get on camera and all this stuff. Maybe we might just have a short nugget we want to send you real quick, and we might do that through our email. So make sure you get on our email list. But today, just go ahead and hit subscribe. Do what you want to do. Whatever you do, keep living.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Whatever you do, keep living. It's all about you. Yes.
Can I share one thing else that we do in our group? We always celebrate successes and stuff, when people do something. And one thing we tell them is, like, if you got your numbers down, and in every success we celebrate, no matter how great or how small. If you change what you ate, or you drank 2 bottles of water, and you just started drinking 2, you were only drinking 1, celebrate it. But we celebrate with a hand clap, a high five. You do a dance, pat yourself on the back, buy yourself a nice trinket, but don't celebrate with food.
That's good.
And that's let me say, that's my default. I don't want to put it on nobody else. Let me take ownership. Look, I'm taking ownership. I do that a lot. Man, this is great. Let's go eat. What do you want to eat? Ice cream. And I know it's not good for me. Ice cream. A cake. That's how we celebrate.
Yeah.
That was my Dave Chappelle.
After we do all the work and stuff, and we say, oh, I got my numbers down, I guess I go eat, and then it goes back up. And something else people need to know too, when it talks about monitoring your blood sugar, watch your stressors. Your stressors can impact your blood sugar.
So,
watch your stressors.
So things that set off, that get you off track,
Mhm.
that thing that get you a little stressed out,
Yeah.
they're triggers, stress triggers. Okay.
Yeah, stress triggers. They make your blood up, make it go down. So
And
just depending on which way it's rolling.
so you're talking about some people too.
Yeah, that's what's your stressors.
You covered it all.
Your stressors.
Oh my God, we got to do it. We got to do it.
You do.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was just say, so our channel, it's called Taking the Next Step.
Yes, you got to do
And
this.
so would you leave us with a next step for people in working toward managing diabetes, working toward getting that diabetic situation under control? What would be a next step that you can leave for our audience?
If you haven't consulted with your doctor, that would be a next step that you need to take. Or if you haven't been managing your sugar like you should, join a support group, Not Today Sugar, get an accountability partner, but take some step in the direction to better health. If it's nothing but eating more vegetables. I know I'm giving a lot of steps because some things may apply, may not. But if it's eating more vegetables, saying, you know what, I find myself eating more of this, I'm going to start eating more green. Or, I haven't been really drinking a lot of water. I've been drinking soda. That's my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't want to end up having to be on kidney dialysis. Let me start drinking a little bit more water. Let me add water to it. Let me follow the doctor's orders.
Go figure that one.
Yeah, let me just start taking my meds on a regular, like I do, as I work to manage this.
Yeah.
And when I have a success, let me not go back to my old ways.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and thank you so much for having me. I'm just grateful.
Well, we thank you so much. We appreciate you. Somebody let me hear. LOL. So we can tell those people stressing us out. Not today sugar.
And you can use Not Today Sugar for just about anything. You know what? You're going to do this. Not Today Sugar. Not.
Love it.
Because it can make your sugar go up or down. Not Today Sugar. You're not.
Love it.
I control you. You don't control me.
I know you love this subject. I know this is part of who you are now. We could go on for another, and we can't. We gotta let people go. But we're definitely gonna have you back on in a future show. We love you.
Yes.
Love you too, and thanks again. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Take care.
Miss Gail, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Y'all take care, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. I don't know who's talking.
8 o'clock.
But we'll be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Eastern
Y'all take
time.
care. Bye-bye. Have a